We're all talking about cuts, but I need you to define for me is what is a real cut that could be delivered here today? Explain.
I think this is the biggest source of confusion. The talks about cuts are about 400,000 barrels per day, but this is from the 2018 quota level. So for instance, just to give you an example, Saudi Arabia's quota is 10.3 million barrels per day. They have been over-complying for most of last year before the attacks on OPEC, producing 9.9 million barrels per day. Let's say of the 400, they take half of the cuts. That takes their baseline from 10.3 to 10.1, but they were already below that. This is the problem. So, of course, right now, they were producing at around 10.2, 10.3 because they're refilling inventories after the attack. So from current levels, yes, it is a cut. But if you're doing annual averages, it really isn't.
So how do you deliver something of substance? Tell me what will be a substantial, progressive message from OPEC Plus in the next 48 hours.
I think, honestly, our balances say OPEC don't even need to deliver additional cuts. The crude market is incredibly tight. You can see that in differentials and backwardation. The problem is the price, the flat price hasn't gone up. And that's to do with fears about demand and, trade wars. I don't think OPEC can do very much to change that, unfortunately. It's just what is driving it. I think the message from OPEC should be the market's improving. They have delivered what they set out to do, which is get rid of the excess inventory. They will continue with the current existing cuts, about 1.2 million barrels per day, through the first half. If they are to deepen the cuts because there's refinery maintenance coming, fine, we're monitoring markets, we'll revisit this in June. They don't need to overdo it. I think right now, because the 400 number is out in the market, they're trying to probably thinking, okay, we need to deliver even a bigger number to actually surprise the market.
Do you think, call me old-fashioned, do you think the Saudis want to deliver a bit of shock and awe to help? It's a small issue. It's called a RAMCO.
Yeah, very small issue. I do think, the timing of it's too much of a coincidence. Of course, there are links there. I think the today and tomorrow are very important days for them, right, in terms of the IPO. So, of course, by the way, it's not just the IPO. There is a budget as well that's supposed to be announced fairly soon. We all know that Saudi Arabia requires a slightly higher price than where we are right now.
Okay, so let's go with a base case scenario, which is additional 400,000 barrels of cuts from last year's target of 2018. What would that do to prices on the upside? We're drifting the 60-61. 400,000 of a cut, what happens to market?
I think, given how much we moved up yesterday, which was 5%,
it's in the price?
I think it's hard for it to rally much more than that, yes.